Hey everybody, Ryan here from Music City Live. Welcome to an episode of Inside The Roadcase. I'm here with Rick Kish and Nevin Campbell, who are both involved with the Forest City London Music Awards, also known as FCLMA. Guys, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Nice to be here.
And Rick is the show producer for Volume 1.
Yes.
And Rick is a singer, producer, and educator. Educator. I didn't know you were an educator.
Yeah. I teach privately.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then musical director Nevin Campbell is a jazz pianist and father.
Yes, I am.
As I am as well. And that is our real full-time job.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah, no, cool. So guys, thanks so much for coming on the show. When I was talking with Mario about the show, we thought, you know what, let's talk about this thing. Let's create some awareness. Let's give some people an idea of what goes into this, what goes on behind the scenes, that kind of thing. Obviously you guys are both musicians, and that's the obvious way of how you got involved with the show, but show producer and musical director, what for you guys brought you into this thing and what got you involved in the show?
Well, I'll start, and I'll say a few years ago, I had seen the show and I thought, I want to produce this show. So I approached Mario and I said, I want you to give me a chance and let me produce and host the show. So a few years passed, and then finally last year he said, okay, let's do it. So he brought me in to produce the show and host it last year. And then It went well, so we're doing it again this year.
That's a good sign.
It's a good, yeah, exactly. When you get asked back, it's a really good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What about you, Nevin?
And then this guy recruited me to come on as musical director.
There you go.
And Rick and I have worked together for many, many years now. And so I've helped him in the musical director department in some of Rick's own shows. So we work really well together. And
Yeah, I don't want to do much without this guy. You get used to something, right? You're like, no, I don't want changes. And so no, he's fantastic. So
well, there's a lot of moving parts, right? Like you guys know that obviously we do a lot of shows as well here at the shop, and you got to go with what you trust, right? Because there's so much happening at the time, especially, that you just need to know that you got someone in your corner that is going to get it right.
Yes. I mean, at the end of the day, I know I could, like, honestly, I could do the many musical aspects of it, but I can't. I'm so happy to be able to say, you know what, it's yours. And then I don't have to think about it. I can do all the other stuff. So it's a really, really, really great situation.
So you guys are doing something called Volume 1.
Yeah.
Jerry, I think we have the poster for that too, right? We want to throw that up as well. So Volume 1 poster is right there. So yeah, Volume 1 performance-wise, Denise Pelly, awesome.
Yeah, Denise is coming in.
Yeah. That's amazing. I want to get Denise on the show at some point. Clark's playing. That's great. I love Clark's such a talented pianist. Amazing. So in terms of Volume 1 is, first of all, is obviously it's at Aeolian.
Yep.
That's a really awesome venue. I put the sound system in there, so I get to spend quite a bit of time there with Chris Babin.
Beautiful.
Shout out to Chris.
Yes.
For all the amazing sound that he does there for so many amazing people.
We love him.
But so what's that sort of give for people that haven't been to the Aeolian in past years? Give us sort of a synopsis of what that's like being there.
Being at the Aeolian is phenomenal. I mean, it's a historic site with an amazing sound system and beautiful stage. It's just the right vibe for what we're trying to achieve with these awards. Mm-hmm. It's elegant, and it has it's a great space for what we're doing. So I mean, it doesn't really make sense to go anywhere else.
Sure.
We're celebrating jazz and classical, world, and folk with an independent artist category in there as well, which is new this year. It feels right to be at the Aeolian.
Yeah. It's a really, really cool spot. There's a lot of history there. It's really the energy in the room is really unique.
It's unique, absolutely. Great way to say it.
For sure, I agree 100%. And for those genres specifically, I think that's a great spot as well. I agree. And those genres again were world.
It's world, folk roots, independent music artists. The folk and the independent musical recording artists are new this year to our volume. Classical vocal, classical instrumental, jazz and jazz instrumental, and then various categories within those.
Now, all of the so again, for people that haven't been, or even people that have, the people who are going to be there, obviously there's the performers you see on the poster, but the people who are there are obviously nominees in the categories, right? This is open to the public. Yes?
Absolutely. Okay. And I think that's probably one of the most important parts. I mean, we want to celebrate each other. We want to be there and support each other, but also for lack of a better way to put it, to have the fans in the room and for them to be part of the experience is really important. And last year we had a lot of fans come to the shows, and we in fact had some fans actually give away some awards, to present some awards.
Really?
They were beside themselves.
Of
it was
course.
a joyful experience, and we're doing it again this year.
Is that sort of a pre-planned thing, a little in a way? Like, it's not spur of the moment. Obviously, you don't just show up expecting to present an award.
No, I had two people in the community who go to tons of stuff.
Amazing.
And I said, why don't you folks come out and present an award? And they were, it was like two kids. They were so excited. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Yep.
And I mean, that's part of it, right? I mean, even as a performer, when you go on stage, you want to include your audience,
Yep.
I mean, some of the, I've been a performer in the past, back in the 90s and early 2000s. And some of the greatest energetic connections I've had on stage were when the people were singing back to me, or when I could visually see them becoming part of the show.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's the same for you guys. So being able to actually physically involve them is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's an extra level of investment in the whole thing that is a special thing for them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So aside from, it's presenters, nominees, what other people are sort of there other than, general public, presenters, nominees, and performers?
Well, industry people, right?
Yeah.
So,
okay. So it's a good networking opportunity.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. So the award, the people who are providing the awards, so like the sponsors of the awards, they often show up as well. So they have various business investments in the whole music community. It's great to have that connection as well. Idlewild in the London Musicians Association, they have an award that they sponsor. So it's a great community, great artist, great business outreach. It's a fantastic overall sort of evening of connection for people.
Overall, what's the show all about? What does this show mean to London, to the people who are involved in it?
Well, I think first and foremost, we're celebrating the musicians and music in the community. So it's a chance for us to get together, and in many cases, the performers on stage get to showcase the talent. And for me, for example, as a jazz musician, get to observe some of the classical or Broadway type music that I'm not necessarily involved in. So people get to display their talent, and we get to celebrate each other.
Yeah, I think celebration is key. And for a bunch of people within the same vested interest, plural, being able to celebrate together, being able to come together and say, yeah, nice. It's pretty cool. Yeah. We don't often get to see each other, right?
Right.
We don't get to see each other's stuff. I mean, we've got a classical quartet that's doing a performance, and then we've got this big choir, which is, interestingly, it's not a classical choir; it's a Broadway choir. But they were nominated for the classical category, which happens sometimes. And you get the people to come out and vote, and bingo, you've got a Broadway choir. So we're celebrating those folks, and those are mostly community members too, right? So people that we wouldn't necessarily be interacting with. So we'll be having, a beer and a cocktail and enjoying each other.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yep.
I mean, these are, typically, I wouldn't call myself younger by any means. I'm getting older now, so I got to be careful. I'm on the edge. But typically speaking, a lot of younger people who would attend this from the public, they would be looking at like the rock category and the pop category and those kind of things, right? Which are in volume 2 on June 8th. But you guys have some pretty unique categories, and London, obviously most people in town know that London is a pretty diverse culture, especially in terms of, the different genres and the different people coming from all over the world. what does that look like for you guys? Like, having to sort of coordinate all this. Obviously, I know the nominees are selected and you kind of know who it is, but it's a big community, right? Like, especially world music. I mean, in London, with what, Alfredo has done with Sunfest and bringing awareness to London from the world music standpoint. I mean, that alone is its own thing. Like, that's a pretty big category on its own, right? For London.
For sure.
What does that look like to you guys in terms of, coordinating all the different styles and putting that together?
Well, we get who's available, right? So we go through and invite people to come and perform, and at the end of the day, we hope we have a good balance between jazz, classical, world, independent, folk, good representation from each community as best as possible. Ages are, I think, really important as well. So. Something I'm excited about is we introduced it last year. We put in a category of performers like newcomers or up-and-comers or
new to the scene,
rising stars, new to the scene. So we've got a couple of young artists that are coming in. One is in her early 20s, pretty recent graduate from Western, and she will bring a crowd of people to that room of like 20-somethings, right? Which is what we want as well, right? We want to get the younger people involved, and she's passionate about jazz. She's a trumpet player. Alexa
Brown, There's a great young contingent coming out of the Western program with an interest in jazz and classical and all of that. So
amazing.
It's great to have that music presence in London in the young community, and we're seeing them come out, and there's a lot of great things happening in the London music scene that may not be known to everybody. So this is a chance to bring them to the forefront and share that with a broader community.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why we're talking about it here too, right? We're trying to create awareness around this. Like, you're sharing this with me for the first time. I'm just finding out about this. I've known a lot of people that have gone through the Western program.
Yep. Right.
It's a phenomenal program, phenomenal school.
Yep.
Some of them have worked for me in the past and now have gone on to become world touring success stories. So, I mean, amazing. But you're right. There are some students that pick some genres that you don't hear about as much in town.
That's right.
Right. And that's why I brought that up earlier about the specific genres that you guys are highlighting in Volume 1, because I think that like some of the, especially when I'm working away on my laptop, I mean, I listen to jazz music nonstop, right, in the background, because it's just so, it just sort of takes me on this like nice sort of journey, and I don't have, there's not all this crazy stuff that I can't focus on, right? So I listen to quite a bit of jazz, actually. Obviously the old standards and all that stuff, but I'm always looking for new music, new artists, younger artists, hoping and praying, because that, we need to keep these genres happening. And refreshingly enough, it sounds like that's happening. We just need to do things like this to create the awareness around it in town.
Exactly. Yeah, it's really cool. The young group that we've got in town, there's a whole crew of them that all know each other from Western. And it's happened really in the last 5 years, I think.
Very cool.
And they do a jazz open night. So you can come in, and if you bring your trumpet or your flute and you want to do some improvisational jazz, there's a group of 20-somethings that are doing jazz at a bar on a Thursday night or something, right? It's pretty amazing, because that hasn't happened for a while, right? It's not been something that's been as present, but something's shifted, and we're going back to the more traditional roots of music in terms of jazz and that kind of stuff, which is happening, I think, in a pretty big way in London.
Yeah, that's really cool. If people, just because I know you guys are kind of involved in the scene, you're talking very passionately about it. If there's people in jazz or in any of these sort of types of genres that want to come out and see these things, that want to network with these young musicians, like, where's the best place to do that?
Well,
aside from the awards,
right?
Of course, there's the awards coming out to get a taste of that. There are platforms, social media. The New London Jazz Association has opened up in the last year, and that's where they're looking to publish a lot of what's happening in the scene. There's been London Ontario Jazz Hub is another great spot where we can find out about upcoming live jazz, and then show up. There's lots of venues. There isn't one spot that you can always necessarily, but there's spots like Toboggan, Ironwood, Idlewild in the summertime. They've got their patio concerts coming up. Market Lane in the summertime, the Sundays jazz at Market Lane. So there's lots of jazz series come on out and introduce yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, Jazz for the People, Wonderland Gardens. I mean, it goes on and on and on.
Lots.
And so many things are happening. So I think the Jazz Hub, I have to sort of shout out to those guys because they've really, I think Brian Ball and the Jazz Hub in particular have really brought the spotlight to jazz in the city, like has not happened in a long time. It's a very specific site. You know, you can find out everything that's going on in the city. And he's been very passionate about making sure that stayed active and up to date. In fact, like reaching out to artists and saying, hey, make sure you tag me, make sure you tag the Jazz Hub. And it's been, I think, a big part of the growth in the City of London, which I think has led to the London Jazz Association and the folks that are involved in that. And then the London Jazz Festival, which just finished month of April.
Absolutely. Good on those guys.
Phenomenal month of music. Oh, I think I went to 16 concerts and it was free. It was free, like the London Music Awards.
Yeah.
4 City London Music Awards are a free event. You can make a donation at the door, which I think is very valuable to help. Yeah. But it is considered a free event, donations.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I made sure I got the can and the shot too from the Hall of Fame that Mario, me and Mario talked about that on the episode. But yeah, we, that it's all part of the eco-structure, like you guys talked about celebrating London music, right?
Yes.
And upon sitting with Mario and talking to him, that's kind of what I took from it was, that we need to, as Londoners, we need to get more involved in not only celebrating, but attending.
Yep.
And that's why I asked you about where can people check stuff out? Where can people get together? Because networking and playing together and building, great acts and stuff like that's great. But obviously you need butts and seats, right? For lack of better terms.
For sure.
And like you said, you went to 16 of the shows that the festival did.
Out of 28.
Yeah, I mean, and that's incredible, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, just definitely think people should look up some of the sites and social media platforms that you guys mentioned to get more involved in terms of even just attending, because that what helps to grow that sort of build that's happening is people coming out and supporting too.
Absolutely.
Right? And so it's amazing that things like the awards are free because there's no excuse now. Everybody can come.
That's right. That's great.
But no, it's great. And I mean, we've been nominated in the past, our family, and we're sponsoring this year. Music City Canada, we're sponsoring the Producer of the Year award. So we're really proud of that. We obviously have a lot of friends over the years who have gone through the music schools and gone on to become major producers. So we're honored to be able to be a part of that. And I think that going forward, the more we can create awareness, the celebration, I think, is definitely very important, and getting together. And I think that's amazing. But I think creating, just having simple conversations like this, I would definitely want to have more of them. So for anyone out there that's either involved with the awards or even just in the London community, happy to have you on for one of these small segments, because I think that it's important for us to, share the awareness of what's going on. Because like you said, we don't get together that often, right? I met Nevin for the first time today, right?
Yeah, right.
So I've worked with Rick, you a bunch of times, but I mean, life's busy. And so I think the more that we can have these types of conversations, the more we can create awareness, the more support the music community in London can get from not only from Londoners, but for anybody watching this from out of town. Come on into town. Yep. We got the new Hard Rock that just opened up. Get a night there, have a whole, week-long London Music Week experience here.
Yes.
There's lots to be seen, lots to be heard.
Yep.
So yeah. Well, guys, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Hey,
thanks for having us.
It's fantastic. It was great. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Hey, everyone. Ryan here from Music City Live. Thank you for watching Inside the Roadcase. This is Ryan, Rick, and Nevin signing off. Make sure you check out the awards June 1st to the 8th. Guys, where can they check out online? What's the website?
FCLMA's is the best place.
FCLMA's. Make sure you get on FCLMA's. Check out everything that's going on all week long for the whole week. But June 1st and June 8th, make sure you're at Aeolian Hall and the London Music Hall, and we will see you there. Thanks, everybody.